First audience question of the night. Can you beat your own ass? I would like to know that. I would really like to know that. Can you beat your own ass? Welcome to tonight's non-Lovecraft Country, still in the HBO umbrella, as you can stream this movie right now on HBO Max. Dissection. I am your host, JustLatasha. Please make that T lowercase. I appreciate you guys tagging me and adding me and writing my name on things, but make that T lowercase. I'm fucking with y'all. I'm fucking with you, except I'm not. Welcome to tonight's ceremonies. I want to shout out to my patrons who came through on the Lovecraft Country dissection yesterday. Y'all had such good energy. Y'all had such brilliant ideas. I had VIP patrons on video with me sharing their opinions and their dissections and their ideas. Brilliant crowd and family we've made here, which is why we put hearts in the chat, because I appreciate and love you all for showing up each and every week. You guys are kind and brilliant, and this is such a great community, and I love it. So I want to create more love in this love room right here. So shout out to everybody who put hearts in the chat. Shout out to my patrons who were there. I've heard some people saying they ain't know when it was on. This is why you got to become a patron, because it said it in the post, pinned for 2 weeks. This is why you got to follow me on social media, JustLatasha on Instagram, JustLatasha404 on Twitter, because I've been posting that thing for 2 weeks. How you still missed the time? I don't know. And then Patreon sends you an email when I post. So you had multiple opportunities to see what the hell was going on. But I'm so sorry for the people that missed it. They didn't understand the time and what happened. Here's a trick just for the future. Whenever you see the link to the video of something coming up, click the link, go to the actual video, and YouTube will always provide you a timestamp of when the premiere or when the live is going to start. So no matter what time zone you in or what's going on, if you click the link to the video of a live that's coming up, YouTube will tell you going live in 2 hours, going live in 15 hours, going live. You'll always have it. Because I've been trying to help y'all, but you got to help me to help you. Okay? Today was wash day. Shout out to my Miss Sealy Platts. It's going down. And please tune in to my Thursday series, Piece of Script. I know it's new. I know it's weird. I know it's short form. These dissections take a lot of work. Hours to prepare. Whole lot of brain energy and time. On top of producing my sketch comedy series called JustLatasha's Interactions, which is coming out 2021, being produced right now. We got 2 more episodes to film. On top of my 9 to 5, on top of a piece of script, on top of being me, period. I just be trying to give y'all the best content I can, okay? I can't be doing dissections all week. Though I love to do it. Who do we have here in the chat tonight? Mara, who's always usually the first one in. Shout out to Mara Sharice. We got Amira, Iana, Adriana, Jazz, Nick the Supreme, Sarai, the crucial chick, Cleve here, LB here. Shout out to my patrons. Nastivity. I stand that name. It's so good. It's giving like virginal, biblical, nasty, whole thought teas all in one. Because look, who was the Mary that had her feet washed down to the Bethlehem? She was nasty. Naya Lee, Lana's here, Mika's Wisdom's here, Cal is here. Shout out to Cal, who was a VIP patron and gave those opinions on video with me yesterday during the Lovecraft Country season finale dissection. Patron exclusive. Shout out to 2 of my moderators here. I ain't seen y'all in a minute. Just Nicole, Shy Podcast. Laura's here. Ain't seen y'all in a minute. Welcome. Y'all act up. They're going to be on you. Thank you, Nicole, for putting my Patreon link in the chat. Y'all check that out. A Ford is here. Stacy's here. CJ's here. Vervolet, Maya, a Black H. Mark, you came back. Mark wasn't fucking with me for a minute. Welcome back, boo. Nikki Pooh is here. We got some good people in the room. Sure Shoe Store. Y'all gotta make your names more simple or else I ain't gonna shout you out. HB, Sarai. Did I say Sarai already? Well, hello again. I'm so happy to have y'all. Okay. Is we ready? Happy Halloween, y'all. It is spooky season. If y'all don't know by now, horror is my favorite genre. Horror is my favorite genre. So while we're in the interim of choosing our next series to dissect, I'm gonna just start picking some of my favorite fucking movies. Because y'all said The Shy, it's on season 4. I don't know what they talking about. Y'all said Blind Manor, not black enough for me. I gave it 15 minutes. I ain't seen not one occur. Sorry. Mark said, well, you're back to dissecting something I watched. So, okay, well, welcome back to the room. And Mark, you made the right choice because yesterday I went on a rant for the Patreon exclusive video. If you don't like Lovecraft Country, you're going to have to turn it off. I don't know what to tell you about episode 9. You have to turn it off. Mark made the right choice. He didn't like Lovecraft Country. He stopped watching it. Like, do you see how easy it could be? You see how simple? It could all be so simple. Mark, teach them, please. Log out of things you don't like. It's okay. The rest of us had a good time. Hello. The rest of us had a good time. We're going to have a good time tonight. Here we go. Us, the movie. Starring the Academy Award winner. Got to put that in front of her name from here on out. Lupita Nyong'o. Okay. 2009 Jordan Peele film. Wrote, directed, and produced this movie. A lot of critique behind this movie, a lot of feelings behind this movie, a lot of entertainment behind this movie. I like it. I'm going to be honest with you, I had a ton of questions, which I'm going to ask tonight. Because the thing about me, like some of y'all be throwing around the word expert, I got a long way to go before I'm an expert at anything in film. Long way to go. So I'm going to be honest with y'all, when I don't understand something, Khaled on Patreon yesterday was answering my questions. I was like, now what the hell went on over here? Khaled was like, so here's what happened. Oh, this is symbiotic. This is a symbiotic relationship. I got a lot of questions about this movie, so I'm going to be relying on y'all as y'all are relying on me. To be honest, Mara Cherie said Blind Manor is boring. Gotta second it. I'm sorry. I tune out of things that I don't, you got to catch me in the beginning. Us is about a woman and her family who are terrorized by home invaders with a terrifying connection to them in this horror hit film. Let's get into our opening shot. A little cheat, not really the opening shot, but the opening shot was some text about the fact that there are tons of underground tunnels and subways and spaces beneath the surface of the United States of America, which is very true. And right after that comes this shot. A news program letting us know that a storm is on the way tonight in Santa Cruz. And we are starting off with our mirror numbers, 1111, right? We have the Cal 11 news tonight, 11 at 11. 1111 in numerology is a manifestation portal. If the witchy girls are in the room, manifestation portal. You send your wishes up, the blessings come right back down. Peak. Peak time to do it. November 11th is coming up. Write it down, send it up, wait for it to come back down. That's exactly how it works. A storm is coming. And Jordan Peele just threw a bunch of inspirations in the top of this movie right here, right? So you see the movie, the VHS CHUD, standing for Cannibalistic Humanoid Underground Dwellers, a horror film from the 80s that he loved. I've never seen it. But we're already starting with the themes and the ideas that monsters live beneath the ground, underground, and on the way up to terrorize. We have Nightmare on Elm Street, classic horror movie. I'm gonna tell y'all a secret because y'all are devoted viewers. I have sexual feelings about Freddy Krueger. I don't know why, and it's been like that for decades at this point. Hold that. Y'all gonna have to take that on you now, because now we're family. Hold that. And we have The Right Stuff, which is some weirdo movie that I looked up and didn't understand. We also have a Rubik's Cube setting the time frame. We are taking place in 1986. So it was very popular in the 80s, along with all these B movies that Jordan Peele showcased. And also this movie will take complex thought, use your brain, use your mind. Y'all already cursed me out about the Freddy Krueger thing. That's y'all fault. You shouldn't have been here, but be here all the time though. Okay, that's actually y'all fault. I'm putting it on you. So, yes, really, Khaled. Yes, really, CJ. Sorry, it is. I don't know. He's burnt and scary. I like it. Let's meet Adelaide. And the first time we meet Adelaide is through a reflection. This is very important. Reflections are going to be in, out, up, down this entire movie. How we meet Adelaide first is through a reflection. Now, this is similar to Get Out, this movie, where we have our protagonist, we have our main character watching TV, and we follow them through a journey stemming from their trauma. Something happens with this moment, them watching TV, they're avoiding something, they're diving into the theme here, right? We're still using some of these things. This was the second debut directorial writer film. And in Get Out, it was two souls in one body. And in Us is one soul in two bodies. I don't know if he inspired himself, if he knew he was following those parallels from his last film, or if these were just like cool coincidences. Coincidences is also something very important to this film. We're still looking at this TV, at this commercial, very real charity and commercial, the Hands Across America. This is a failed charity in the 80s, which was a project for USA to raise money for those in Africa. I have my first audience question of the evening, because we're going to start early. Jordan Peele says Us is not about race. And if you were on my Patreon video yesterday, we sort of kind of talked about it, but tonight we're going to talk about it. Peele says the movie Us is not about race. So I ask y'all, can we have a Black story without race? Is that possible? Is it possible to have a Black story that does not include race? Hi, Dad. I see you in the chat. My dad says absolutely not. You cannot tell a Black story in TV or film without it including race. Kane says, yes, you can. If you talk about classism, we're going to get to that. We are going to get to that, Kane. Stacy says no. Okay, we have some yeses here. Tyrese says no. Violet says yes. Mark says nope. Really can't have a white story without race. Really can't even have a white story without race. Khaled says maybe one day. Y'all say it's possible. I don't know. As for right now, I'm going to say no, it's impossible. I think collectively, the Black American experience is based on our racial experience. It's how Black Americans were birthed from the nastiness of racism. My sister's texting me, my job is texting me, there's a whole lot going on, but we're getting right back in here. I think no. My answer is no. But if we look at the bottom left corner, we see the opening image of this commercial for Hands Across America, and it's all these little eyes, right? Because we're connecting all these Americans in the hopes to help Africa. So you have white people trying to do a thing for charity for Black folk and failed at it. Peele said it ain't about race, but it's giving race to me already. It's giving race to me. I fell in love with Yahya the Abdul Mateen II right about here. You don't even see his face. This is how powerful he is. Imagine them long legs and that broad back on that IMAX screen. Harpo, who they? Please. And he got that fang I like. He got that little fang tooth I like a lot. I like it a lot. Let's meet Adelaide once again. Still not quite meeting her, right? We see this entire family from behind. We see the back of them. This is giving mirror image. This is giving a sense of lost identity. We don't know who these people are. It's a big question mark who these people are. Their identity is hidden from us. Look at the parents. They're so far apart compared against United Hands Across America, where everybody has to link up and join hands and come together. Look how far apart her parents are. They don't look at each other. They don't touch each other. They're not in a good space. We have a very strong color theme here because this movie is a critique on America. We have red, white, and blue. All right, let's go a little bit more. More themes here. Y'all know by now what the color red means. It's danger. Something bad's coming up. Our little Adelaide puts on a thriller tee. Jordan Peele throwing in his theme that there's monsters coming. There's this unhuman presence coming, giving us all these clues. Dad is at the game playing whack-a-mole, right? The idea of monsters coming from beneath. You got to whack them back down. These monsters coming up from beneath the surface. Really just visually playing into themes. Jeremiah 11:11. As Adelaide is strolling off while Daddy's playing whack-a-mole, being bad. Do Black kids wander off? I don't think Black kids wander off like that. Okay. For me, a little bit for this movie, the 11:11 was going a little hard, a little heavy-handed on the 11:11. That's okay. That's all right. But what is Jeremiah 11:11? Verse in the Bible that says, "Therefore, thus saith the Lord, behold, I will bring evil upon them, which they shall not be able to escape. And though they shall cry unto me, I will not hearken unto them." It's giving tragedy. It's giving tragedy. Like one of my all-time favorite films, Hereditary. Something bad is going to happen, and don't matter what these characters do, you're in it. All right? Tragedy will happen. Death will come to you. Turmoil will come to you. It's the fate of why we're here. Peele also wanted to explore in this film duality, mirror imaging, reflections, transparencies. And the duality specifically here in all of these opening shots, when we open up to daylight and we open up to watching TV and we open up to seeing all these games around the TV and we go to an amusement park, knowing the entire time that it's a horror, he's putting all these innocent, beautiful places and making it real scary. Flipping it on its head, right? The beach is a place we enjoy. Amusement park is a place we enjoy. Jordan Peele was like, fuck that, I'm gonna ruin it. And he did. It was great. I loved it. Symbolism. We're going to spend most of our time in Act 1 and 2. Act 1, really, because this is where he builds it all just to knock it all down. And the visuals that it all relates to, it's jam-packed as soon as the movie starts. We're going to spend most of our time looking at all these little increments. We have an owl, symbolizing in film sharp vision and keen observation. Keep your eye open and pay attention. Everything visually in this film will mean something. The meaning of the owl also has something to do with change or transition. Y'all done seen the movie. I can't spoil it. Somebody's about to change and somebody's about to transition, right? Red all around. This is danger all around. We have all of these in this house of mirrors where Adelaide is exploring this find yourself house of mirrors, all these exit signs. Some are real and some aren't. It goes right back to our Jeremiah 11:11. Something bad's going to happen. You can't call out for nobody. There is no exit. There is no escape. It may look like there's an exit, but it ain't real. There's no escape for Adelaide. And of course, we're playing right into our theme of cloning and multiples. And right when she meets her reflection, she does this panic whistle. Odd choice, but a choice nonetheless. Jem Jerica says, my husband and I were just talking about us. My only problem is we don't know why the Tethered were left alone. What happened to the directors of the project? like Adelaide's daddy. They left. They had no use for him. And that is a critique about capitalism, which we will dive into later. Let's put a pin in it. But yes, 50 Yacht says, Peele on it. Peele on it not being about race. He's on it about not being about race. I don't think he meant it like that. He just meant it's not entirely about race. You can't discuss America without it. And I think that's very much true. I don't think the point of Us was about Black. It was just like, they're Black and this terrible thing is going to happen. I agree, 50 Yachts. This is where he told the entire story in 3 shots with no words. And I bet you missed it. Bet you missed it. Look at these 3 sequence of shots in Act 1. The first few minutes, first like 5-6 minutes, he told you the entire story without saying a word. First, we begin with a double Adelaide. Then we go into this horror that she sees. And then we go into the White Rabbit. We're introduced to the White Rabbit, the experiment. So what did these 3 shots just say? The tethered, the reflection, is the experiment. The human Adelaide sees it. And the next time we see Adelaide, it'll be the White Rabbit. The failed science experiment of this human child has switched places. Genius. If you give it to me, genius. Cleve says, but I did get lost in that rabbit. The rabbit ain't go nowhere. Jess Nicole says, blue and black can symbolize mystery and the unknown. I like that. I like it. I like it. Oh, Mara Cherie says, like America itself is a failed experiment. Well, drag, Mara. Drag, ma'am. Wow. Wow. Let's go into our themes of the failed experiment. Both hands united across America, a failed experiment. And this White Rabbit tethered basement of America, the sub-level of America, is the failed experiment. Trying to clone these humans was the failed experiment, right? Brings us to present day. Adelaide's got a family of her own now, all grown up. And this is how we meet the family. This is the first image that we see to meet the family. A cloned recreation of their image. A presentation of their image, not quite them. And we have this discomfort paired with daylight and a really joyful song that I love, Janelle Monáe's I Like That. Ooh, ooh, sometimes I wanna run. Oh, that song is fire. This film is putting our defenses down because it's about to fuck us up. You see what it did? You see what it did? The horror is already happening, but they're just like, nah, you having a good time. Go ahead. We see the color green, which often represents the characters on a new journey, right? And this also just coincides with the fields, the vast American fields that we saw where Hands Across America was trying to connect Americans across the country on this new journey. Well, let's finally meet our family. Yes, Sarai says, wow, and holding hands too. Absolutely, yes. Let's meet our family. Guys, we already know the answer. And that's not just because we all already saw the movie, but we already all know the answer. Adelaide, the only one dressed in white, because what did we say? We switched, and the White Rabbit is who we'd be introduced to on this side of the mirror, right? She is the White Rabbit. She is the tether. She is the experiment. And she's never quite aligned with her family. She's always quite separated because they're not the same. Her family is actually like from here, and she's a clone from downstairs. So they're always in these far away frames, right? And it's similar to how she grew up, where her parents weren't Never on the same page. So the family is here in Santa Cruz visiting Adelaide's childhood summer home. We are in present day, and we see these two photos in this summer house. Adelaide with her own daughter and Adelaide with her mama that we saw at the fair. Somebody's missing, and we don't know why somebody's missing, but somebody's missing. Ain't no daddy, the daddy's gone. I have a microphone down here. The daddy's gone. And we're leaning into our USA theme, our American theme with these colors, the red, white, and blue in this family portrait. Right next to this huge, large, painted portrait of only Adelaide and her mama. So I want to ask y'all something, because we discussed that Adelaide's not quite connected with her family, and we saw how her parents' relationship was. So I have an audience question right now. Do you think the absence of her father affects her relationship with her husband? She's not quite touchy, talky, romantic. She don't quite do all that. Or is there lack of bond due to her being the tether? Which one do we think it is? Neek said, I completely missed that the first time around. Me too. I watched it today and I was like, oh. Oh. Why do we think, how do we think the absence of her father affects the now and how she's able or unable to relate to the man in her own family? So Iconic says, the green surrounding the red, white, and blue, the land of the free. You guys are saying both. It's both her being a tether and it's both her family being a little weird. Nima says it's the tethered part. Lana says it's the tether part. I think it's the tether part. Sarai says both play a role. I think it's the tether part. Because she goes from being totally alone to coming into this relationship where her parents are really at odds. But more so, because that human relation emotion thing she just does not get. She's more so a mimic, if anything. Look how this shot told on her. And we have to start talking about the baby, Jason. I can't wait. Look how this shot told on her. Adelaide and Jason are on the white side of the room, that white rabbit social experiment side of the room. And Gabe and Zora are on like this wooden nature human side. I called it the human side. Look how they split. So I have questions about the movie. These are things that I genuinely do not know and couldn't figure out. When it comes to the tethers, is this a DNA thing? Like, how much does the DNA of a human affect the tether? Because what this is giving me in this shot is that the baby is either half tether or he's also a tether. But if he's half tether, how can he be half tether and Zora is not? So is it strictly about cloning? Do we have to like use our minds to mix the human DNA and the cloning? This is where I start to have questions. This is just where I lose it just a little bit. I lose it just a little bit. Let's talk about Jason some more. Let's say Jason is the tether all the way. Let's lean into it. Let's talk about it then. Jason, number one, in the Jaws tea, monsters that come from beneath, monsters beneath the surface. coming to attack the humans. He leaves an open room to shoot and run down a hallway, aka the tunnels that are underground in the USA. You can usually see him going down tunnels in like small spaces. Let's talk about his monster mask. Really being a monster on and off. Choosing human, monster, human, monster. He might be a monster from the tunnel. Now there was like critique or assumptions like maybe he was switched. There was this whole story about what happened to him last summer in that closet. So I'm gonna ask y'all, coming back to the audience, I'm gonna jump in the chat. Do we think Jason is half tether, or was he totally switched the way Adelaide was totally switched? Because the story this family is talking about is that he left his lighter in this house from last summer, and his whole thing, he had a panic attack in that closet last summer. Myra Cherie says Jason is a tether. Denard says Jason never really ate food. Lana says I ain't get it either. That's what I didn't like about the movie. Tiara says, I don't think he is a tether. I think he's a human closely raised by a tether. Okay. Denard says Jason couldn't do a magic trick he claims he learned a year before. Good point. Good point. Okay, y'all are saying switch. Okay. So we think he's fully switched. I'm down. I ride with it. I'm down. I want to take a look back to Adelaide again, eating this strawberry, because as a child, we understood as we explore more of the story that the tethers in the underground tunnels were raised on raw and bloody rabbits. So she's eating this fleshy, meaty, right? We know it's strawberry, but it's very symbolic of how she was raised as the social experiment, what she had to eat to survive, right? Also, this color, she might be the danger. She might be in danger. A twofer. I love a twofer. Again, leaning into the separation between Adelaide and the family. Look how separated and how far away she is. She's not quite a part of them. Let's get a little more complicated. We got to get a bit more complicated. Here we go. Let's get a bit more complicated. This is Adelaide after the House of Mirrors. Her parents took her to therapy because she hadn't spoken since the incident. What is wrong with our baby? What's wrong with her? Okay. We understand as the audience by now that she was switched with the tether after 15 minutes of being lost. So, jumping into the chat here for another audience question. Why do we believe this tether, who has taken the human Adelaide's place, is aligning her animal toys? And this is a genuine question that I have, because then I'm going to tell y'all about more questions I have in a minute. Millennial Malk says, children typically tether or attach to the opposite sex parent. It could be a play on him becoming a tether via nurture instead of nature. Malk, that was brilliant. I like that a lot. I like that a lot. Why is this tether aligning her animal toys where the human Adelaide should have been? Rachel is saying she's tethered to the real Adelaide's experiences. Sarai says she knew the plan before the plan happened, or original Adelaide is already plotting the attack. Khaled says hands across America and the foreshadow to the tethered lining up at the beach, question mark. Cleve says because she never saw animals free roam, they got to be lined up like in cages. Everybody's saying hands across America. Nastivity says real Adelaide is trying to send a message through the animals. This is what confuses me. And here's why. And I agree with y'all. The human Adelaide beneath the ground planning is controlling the tether above the surface. Because what happens is when the humans are up here doing something, the tethers are beneath doing the same exact thing. So here's where I got questions. If you controlling up here and you're controlling this person down here and y'all switch, then the human still has power over the tether upstairs. So I believe that human Adelaide is downstairs plotting and planning, which is controlling the tether upstairs with her actual family, and she's aligning the animals. I don't think she realizes the connection and what's going on. But here that gets confusing and different later, which is why I'm not attached to it. But pay attention to the visuals of this little toy bucket she's playing in. First of all, this red, and it's sunken, right? We have this aligning of animals beneath the surface, this danger happening beneath the surface. And she may be being controlled and she's not even aware that this tragedy is on the way for her. Yeah, Mark agrees. The real Adelaide was already planning underground. I agree. Tyrese says she goes from being like the animals on the left to the animals on the right, from the depth of the underground to above the underground. I can't even see my own screen to agree or not. I don't know. Here we go. We see a reflection of the family because, again, they are not the same. Adelaide is separated from these humans. She's from the other side. She's from the reflection side. And a therapist here encourages the parents to get her to draw or write or dance to tell her story because she won't speak. And we see here when she does share a frame with dad that she is submerged, right? We know where she's from. Dad's from up there, you're from down there. So they can't quite share that frame. I wish Yahya Abdul-Mateen II would touch my shoulder and ruffle my dress feather sleeves. That's not important. That's not important to the story at all. What the experience I would like to share with Yahya Abdul-Mateen II. Adelaide, I also call him daddy. We have a gangster in the room. Tiffany Jackson says, if so, why doesn't Adelaide just, why am I reading you like that? If so, why doesn't Adelaide just lead her to a place and simply switch her back Leah's prior? Reverse knock her out. Yes. That's exactly what we want to do. We want to reverse knock her out. I ain't fighting shit at 8 years old. I'm sorry. Tiffany, you on my team during the zombie apocalypse. You about it. Because I'm not doing it. Oh, did I skip that? I surely did. Adelaide, like Jason, maneuvers through these hallways / tunnels. She has this shadow on the wall representing her clone. Again, these two are very, very, very similar. Jason is submerged, hiding these tiny little tunnel areas, these tiny little crawl spaces. And Adelaide goes into the basement of her family's summer home to reflect on the times where she started to dance. This is what the therapist told her to do, right? This is how you tell your story, start dancing. And she used to dance down here in the basement. And she takes a moment to look at her reflection, but we only see the reflection, again, leaning into the fact that we are looking at Miss White Rabbit herself. So again, I have questions just in general for this movie. I really need to know who's controlling who, right? And if being upstairs switches your control power, depending on who's upstairs at the moment. Because if Adelaide was made to dance due to therapy, that means the White Rabbit is the one upstairs dancing. This controlled the human Adelaide downstairs. So when did they switch power? Do you see what I'm saying? In just the scene before, Adelaide is downstairs planning out, making Tether upstairs control the animals. But when Tethered Adelaide was put into dance rehearsals upstairs, that made downstairs human Adelaide start dancing, which made her different to all the other tethers, which I have another question about, but I'll ask it later. I just get a little, you know what I mean? Leaning into the white rabbit, a little heavy-handed, a little overhanded with this name now. And what she does in this surface area controls the reflection, right? Look at the cubes on the reflection side. We do not see that on the reality 3D side. We only see those cube shelves to mirror that white rabbit experiment cage. We only see that in the reflection side, leaning into that. The reflection is the bunny experiment. And the link between the two, she's holding this photo of herself dressed in all white, taking dance classes. The white rabbit is here taking dance classes, which is affecting the tether. Elle says, I think it may be whoever's in the real world has the control. Mark says, right, I was wondering if them simply switching locations fucked up the dynamics of who's in control. Maybe they switch and share control. I don't know, because Jason's going to do something weird too, and we're going to have to talk about it. Visually, comparing our white rabbit, she's in front of these two reflective voids. We're playing with vertical levels, right? Adelaide is standing above the surface, looking down at Jason, who's submerged. You can't quite see him in that bottom picture to the right. He's beneath the surface. I want to just bring y'all attention to it. We ain't got to talk about it. Just talk, hold on to it for yourself. Zora has a white bunny tee on. Zora has a white rabbit t-shirt on. Bree says, white rabbit had a seat at the table, honey. Put a pin in it. Just hold on to the information. Hold on to it. And then from beneath the surface, just like his Jaws tee, Jason pops up with a little monster face on, right? Leaning into our theme. So we have our first tether attack. The young man back at the beach down to 1986, comes back and kills his human version of himself. What a dramatic death. Whew. He's fainting on his fainting chase. What a dramatic death this guy. Mr. 1111 himself coming back to start war. Let's look at these shadows. A hint at these larger than life monsters connected right to you beneath the surface, following you wherever you go. It's terrifying. It's quite terrifying. We meet Josh and Kitty, our lovely white neighbors, and their twin daughters, right? Leaning into this twin theme, leaning into the 1111, reflective mirror energy, all that. And look at Jason, how he's doing this squat, little animalistic squat, always staying low to the ground, scurrying around, right? And what he's choosing to do in his free time is build tunnels on the beach. Hey, Kiki. What he's doing is building tunnels in his free time on the beach. That's what he'd like to do. Look at them. Aligned with the white side of the house. Jason running through that hallway like a tunnel, running through them tunnels, right? Real quick, we're going to stop by Zora's room. There's a portrait right behind her, where we have people submerged underneath the surface. Really quick little visuals here. Let's get back into Jason's room. The top left, he has a Hands Across America-esque picture in his room. Very symbolic of that commercial that we saw. And here's why I'm starting to think it's not full tether. This checkered pattern is giving me half and half. It's giving me half human, half tether, because that's exactly what his parents are. It's giving me half white rabbit. Which will bring me back to the question, why isn't Dora? Or is she because she had a white rabbit t-shirt on? Or is she just the daughter of, you see what I'm saying? This movie is fire, but it be raising so much more questions, because then it's like, well, if that's that, then what's that over there? Unique was like, you see everything. I just feel like it's half-half. But that makes me ask more questions. We ain't got time for it. Let's move on. I want to show you one of the coolest sequences of this movie right here. So first we start off where Adelaide is trying to tell Gabe why she is so afraid to be on this beach and in Santa Cruz right now. She feels this thing coming back. She knows it's coming back for her. And when we first start the story, Adelaide does not have a reflection because she is not from here. And she's worried about this human form coming back for her to take her spot. As she goes deeper into the story, we finally see her reflection when she remembers meeting the Tether as a child in that house of mirrors. So we're coming back to that memory of seeing that reflection of the two girls face to face. And as we dive further into the story, we only see her reflection after she details the rest of her life from that point, because we know why. The Tether has taken her spot after they met in the house of mirrors. So just visually how you can bring your character to different points. Flames. Flames. Calla says Jason's going to outgrow his Tether jeans one day. we should hope. We hope. All right. There's a family in our driveway. Gabe was so annoying. He didn't believe Adelaide's story. He didn't believe Jason's story about the family being outside. He said, what is everybody talking about? And I just have to ask, is he absent like Adelaide's father? Emotionally. He's happy, he's loving, he's supportive, but he don't listen. He feels absent. They're begging for him to be here with us. And we see, just like we saw on the beach, this tethered family arrives with those large shadows at their feet. And the humans this time are the ones in the reflection. Baby, we're evening the playing field. Who's the enemy? Depending on which side you're on, because the Tethers essentially have been wrong. They've been created, used, and abandoned. They've been left for dead down in the dark in the sublevels of the good old USA while y'all get to live in the light. So depending on what side you're looking at, we don't know who's the enemy. Technically, the humans, y'all sus. But to the humans, y'all in our house, just standing outside being weird. Y'all didn't even bring fruitcake. What are we doing? Right? Depending on what side you're on. So we are totally evening out the playing field. Cleve, the daddy's not trash. Don't do that. Diving into the chat here, we are introduced, as we have been already, introduced to the color yellow. And this picture, which has been bothering me since I first watched the movie in 2019. I was like, in this scary moment when things are happening, why do we see this big yellow ass picture? And I couldn't figure it out. So I'm asking y'all in the chat, what do we think the color yellow means? Or what do we think this picture means? Why do we need to see this picture right here, right now? What's up, Christian? Ooh, Millennial Malk with the, we trying to win tonight's dissection. Our parents always seem to show up in the lovers we choose. Don't do that. I'm not ready to be dragged. I'm not ready to be dragged. Okay, Malik. All right, Malik. What do we think this? Why do we think this picture is here? We have a yellow door to the home. You have this yellow portrait in the house. We have this shadow approaching from the outside, trying to get in. Bree says this is foreshadowing. Foreshadowing to what? Lana says Mama's going to handle it. Like that superwoman, I guess, in that photo, right? Mama's going to handle it. Cleve says because they're at war with clones. Tiara says, can we also talk about his choice of weapon? It's given Lovecraft Country. What you want to talk about, Tiara? What about it? What about it? Amira says the picture is another mirror, a reflection with one in red and one in blue. Khaled says blue is little Adelaide, red is her older, and the yellow is the freedom and the sunshine. Ooh, living in the sunshine. Maya, that's not nice. It's given, here's my take on it. Nothing's wrong. Nothing's wrong. Be loud about what you think it is. It don't matter. Malk says yellow is a combination, a mixture of two essences. I believe the yellow represents the meeting of both worlds. Malk, I'm gonna lean in a little bit on that. I believe human Adelaide is represented by yellow. Yellow on their front door, yellow behind her and her mom. This is home. I remember when she was a little girl in the carnival, her daddy was wearing yellow. In the therapy office, her daddy was wearing, not in the carnival, her daddy was wearing white in the carnival. In the therapy office, her daddy was wearing yellow. And the way the shadow was approaching, it feels like the human Adelaide is like, I'm home. This is me. I'm home now, right? And you may have missed it on the first few watches, but this shadow didn't just stumble upon this extra key that was outside the door. She knew where it was. She knows exactly where it's her house. Knows exactly where she is. So essentially, human Adelaide is returning home. That's what I got from it. Nothing's wrong. I ain't no expert. We just love TV and movies over here, okay? Power reversals. The tethers are now above. The humans are now below. Knock that knee out with a bat. Clocked it. Let's meet Red, aka human Adelaide. Let's meet Red, who stops by this portrait first. Split half tether and half white rabbit with these shadows in the back, right? And again, depending on what side you're on, those shadows could be your family or the shadows could be your enemy. Depends on what side they're on. They're the same color. We got 5 on it. We got 5 on Adelaide. We half and half. And they came, what's what Malk said, they came and met right in the middle. So let's meet them. Us. Whew. I got questions. It's just my general questions for the movie. The tethers must do what the humans do, right? Just in general, how does it recreate the exact DNA? My daddy and my mama made me and my sister. Me and my sister don't look exactly alike. It's just not how it works. That's number 1. Number 2, again, how did Adelaide switch to be in control of Red, who's human? Just because you upstairs? Question 3, Adelaide had a C-section when she had Jason, meaning because the tethers downstairs have to do what the humans do, the shadow, Red, had to cut her son out of her belly herself. Just a question, where the hell was the doctor tether? Everybody got a tether. So where was the doctor tether? That's another question. How did the tunnel span across America? Like, how do they travel? They was driving down to Santa Cruz. Where the hell was the underground tethers? They ain't got no cars downstairs. Is it gonna take them a while to arrive, or do they do the thing where they at? So you miles away, or you took a flight, but the tether's gonna stay back here and do the thing back here, or do they walk, catch up? I'm overthinking it. How did the tethers get the glove, the jumpsuit, and the sandals? Who's the tether tailor? Who is the tether tailor? And can she make me one? Gabe asks, who are you people? And Red's response is, we're Americans. Human Adelaide is back, here to take what's rightfully hers, to live in the sun. One Khaled, I think, said that in chat. Live in the sun. She is also going to give the opportunity to all tethers to cut themselves free from the human link, the untethering. It's our turn now. Bree said, not the tethered Taylor. Somebody's downstairs sewing up them jumpsuits, and they did a fabulous job. So this is where I think this is about classism, which you cannot have classism without race. Who are the elite, most money having people living in freedom under the sun at the top, on top of the hill, and they gated community mansions? Rich white folk. And who is beneath the surface trying to survive and left for dead and abandoned? Black and brown folk. I think essentially this is mirroring classism, which would then go back to the Hands Across America, where the white people wanted to link hands across America and help the sullied down in Africa. They ain't got nothing. Let's help them. But the charity fails and Africans were abandoned. Can you tell a Black story without talking about race? I don't think so. I don't think so. Millennial Mock says, wow, do you think the tether could represent the true feelings of Black Americans versus the masks we have to wear above ground? Don't do that, Malk. We're not ready. We are not ready for that conversation. Just Nicole says, in America, at least all roads of oppression and discrimination lead back to white supremacy. Say that. Say that. We're going a little long tonight, y'all. We're going just a little long tonight. Here we go. We see Jason with his tether. Gabe is getting his ass beat outside. Zora is running for her life down the block. Adelaide is in the living room, tethered to the coffee table with Red. And Jason's here in his closet where he was playing just a bit earlier, where he may have been switched. And I have another question. If he was switched in the closet, where's the Underground Railroad? Where's the trap door to get to the Underground Railroad in this closet? What about this closet makes it special to where he gets switched in here? Or did they go to the beach last summer? He got switched back in the House of Mirrors just like his mom. I don't know where he got switched at. But anyway, their masks reflect each other. Pluto's mask matches Jason's PJs and vice versa. Jason's Chewbacca mask matches Pluto's jumpsuit. They could literally switch and be the same. So with all this division, I'm feeling like these babies are given half human, half tether. But I'm still not mad at the boys being switched because I don't know. I don't know. One thing JP is going to do, me and JP on nickname basis, that's Jordan Peele. One thing JP is going to do is let a Black girl kill a white girl. Fuck the police, fuck the police. Look at our family. We had to say goodbye to our lovely white neighbors. Our family has killed the white neighbor's tethers. They all dead and gone. And we can see how Adelaide is positioned, standing compared against her family, who are all sitting, facing the window, away from her family again. She's the only one who has a reflection. All these lines to separate Adelaide from her and her family. But her and Jason are both facing the same direction. Okay. They're about to hit the road again. And so one tether comes back for Adelaide, and Adelaide, upon murdering her, gets caught by Jason letting out this animalistic grunt. That was a big clue. Goodbye, hombre. You ran fast, you did good, but your back is broke on this tree. Jumping in the chat here, why do we think Adelaide mourns and comforts these tether babies? Why do we think Adelaide gives a hot damn about these monster children? Why does she care? Khaled. Jumping in for another audience question this evening. Why does Adelaide care so much about these tethered babies? Mika's wisdom says because they her folk. Jerica says, each tether is the worst aspect of us, regardless of race. Was the experiment about perfecting ourselves or finding a way to enslave? Wow. You like usually hang out here? Like, who are like your people? Like, wow, like you're really good. You're really good. CJ says, because she is them. Sarai says, even though she's gone, those are still her people. Bree says, I gotta get out this chat. You can take the girl out of the underground. I'm over y'all. I can't. I'm so over y'all. I have more questions. Why can Jason control his tether, but Zora, who's made of the same, and others can't? So if they even the playing field by everybody coming upstairs, what is special about Jason that he can still control his tether? Which is what's giving me half and half, because their blood a little different. What's making Adelaide bond with the children? But I guess we answered that. Them, her people. And like Adelaide, when she was a baby, Dad wasn't watching and Jason got took. Yes, that was an incorrect conjunction, but we made it because we can do what? Whatever we want. The white rabbit goes home. This was one of the biggest clues of the film. Before I move on, I want to read a comment from a Black H. Side note, another point about race dynamics. We see it in this movie. Even with the class privilege of having summer homes, the home of their white friends was much nicer. Race still matters. Yup. Because Jacob had flares on his boat on the biatch. Not Jacob. What was his name? Kitty and John. Kitty and I forgot. But he got a glass house, 2-level home. They got a nicer car. Kitty goes out and gets her face done when she want. Yep. Bringing it back. The white rabbit goes home. This was one of the biggest clues of the movie. If she was the human Adelaide, she's never been there before. How the fuck she know where she going? She knew exactly where to find that tether. And they played it cool because it looked like she was just exploring. But the white rabbit was at the door. Just Nicole says, again, it's in the consistency of the mythos. He could control his tethered person because the plot needed it. Yeah. Yep. A filmmaker cheat. A filmmaker cheat. Look, I need my characters to get here by this point. Make them do the thing. And it's done. And we move on. It's fine. Big clue. How the fuck would the white rabbit know where she's going? Which brings us right about here. The golden portrait. I feel like my video is messing up. Is it? The golden portrait. Unlike human Adelaide, the tethered home wasn't comforted by mama and the sunlight. Her home was solitary, bloody, metal, and cold. Look at the difference between their upbringing. And I didn't see this and I didn't get this until I watched it today. And I didn't see this movie a million times. That's why that goddamn portrait was there. When Adelaide was banging and coming back home, you was in the wrong house. That's not your house. It's my house. This your house. On this cold, only going down escalator. Callie said, why it only go down? How do they get up? How was there a whole ass functioning escalator underground? Why did it only go down? How did the tether go up? You know, you got to do that run when you was in the mall. You did that run up the wrong escalator. Adelaide said, this is get out of my house. Shit. The white rabbit is home. Back in them rabbit cages where she belonged, where she had to eat to survive. She is home. Look at this. That's me, Red, who said something to Adelaide. She says, we're human too, you know. You humans took living in the sun for granted. Eat the rich, kill the 1%. Eat the rich, kill the 1%. Bringing it back to that vertical line of classism and capitalism, which includes race, right? And scientists took all this time in this failed experiment to make a copy of the body, but could not recreate the soul. You guys got to share a soul. 2 bodies, 1 soul. Let's get to the dancing. Unique Supreme says this scene was chef's kiss with the dance and fighting. This is what Queen and Slim tried to do. I told myself I wasn't going to say it. I told myself I wasn't going to say it, but I had to say it. This is what Queen and Slim tried to do. It's difficult. Filmmaking is hard. It's difficult. The switch. The tether gets to dance in the light while the human Adelaide must dance in the dark. The tether Adelaide dances at the suggestion of the therapist, which makes human Adelaide dance below. Where the fuck did she get her tutu from? They have no language, no souls, no brains. They could tailor the fuck out of tutu. Wait, Adelaide was doing all the cutting, so maybe Adelaide's the tether tailor. Is Adelaide the tether tailor? Is she the only one know how to use them damn scissors? I also have questions. There ain't no other dancing tethers. Adelaide is if this is the thing across America, this is the tunnel across America, and every human in America is a tether, has a tether. How they only seen dancing the first time with Adelaide? All right, I'm gonna start asking questions. I'm just moving on. All right, I'm moving on. Elle says suddenly the scissors make sense. I think Adelaide is tether tailor. She gotta be. We see here landing in our Hands Across America plan, right? Human Adelaide gots to planning. Adelaide cannot beat her own ass. And I feel her. I understand her. If a JustLatasha walked through this door right now, I'm getting my ass beat. And she got scissors. Count me the fuck out. No. And here we lose Red. The person that we met the first time in the opening shot of the movie. And little did we know, we were rooting for her the whole time. And we had no idea. Red here, as she's dying and she's punctured and bleeding at, does the panic whistle that she did in the House of Mirrors when she was a child to clue us in who the real who is. Again, this horror is a tragedy. We lose our main character. We lose our protagonist. We met her in the reflection because this is where she had to spend the majority of her life, downstairs, being on the other side of humanity. And Adelaide, when she's home and in the gutter of who she is, as she kills Red for the final time, does her tether growling grunt and scream when that neck gets to snapping. Crack that neck. Ow! Stacy says Red was always in danger. And Cardi B says, imagine fucking that. Red was always in danger. Imagine fucking that. Let's talk about Jason. I need to answer questions. Did he also know where to go? Is this a familiar hiding place? Is this a coincidence? Like there's been many coincidences for these characters throughout this film. Did he just choose one? And jumping into the chat to get your opinions, he suddenly doesn't trust his mom. Look at the fear in his eyes when he looks at her. Not a thank God you're here. It was like, who the bitch? Who? It's getting weird, okay? Jumping into the chat, why doesn't he suddenly trust his mom? Did Red spill the tea while they had alone time? Is he just like, F everybody, this whole thing is strange? I'm tired of running around in tunnels. Why doesn't he trust his mom? CJ says, I thought she put him there. I don't even know. I don't know. Tyrese said he saw who his mother really was. Where? At what time? CJ says, doesn't trust her because he heard that conversation. Where is the lockers in comparison to that classroom with the rabbit cages? Mark says that was when he figured out who was who. How and when? Khaled says, I think he scared the blood to death, the growl. Valid. Very valid. They didn't confirm what part he heard or how he found out or what had happened. So I thought, like, I don't know why, like, what confirms that he knows and feels that he still left with her. They had to run up that escalator together. But what exactly clued him in to this ain't the mama I thought she was? Bree says he sees what he could be. And nigga knows he's next. Next. Bree, stop. Fun fact, though, means bunny in Vietnamese. We have Zora again with the second bunny shirt. Is she half tether? Is she a tether? Is she the daughter of a tether? What the hell do Zora do? Tyree said he was suspicious in the kitchen at the friend's house, and then he heard her growl again. Okay, all right. But either way, our family is back in the ambulance. All is well, and they're on their way to Mexico, getting the fuck out of this country. Sounds good to me, especially with this November 6th day coming up. Sounds good to me. Khaled, no. No, Khaled. We confirm here the switch between Red and Adelaide, saving that twist all the way to Act 3. Oh, they squeezed it out of us, saving that big twist all the way to the final moments of the film. Genius. And the baby, do he or do he not know her tea? Do he or do he not know her tea? He said, fuck it, we out to Mexico. And then now what? You know what I mean? Like, now what? Now we just hold hands until we die? Do we go eat new rabbit and antelope, perhaps? would we like delectable white girl twin thighs for dinner? Now what? They lost their Tethered Taylor. They have all the clothes they want, period. Is there a polo store downstairs? For joining me on this dissection. I'm your host, JustLatasha. Please make that T lowercase if you do. I am in the process of making and producing my sketch comedy series called JustLatasha's Interactions. We are in production, so if you follow the show pages, you can see me on set, BTS footage, interactions on both Instagram and Twitter, INNR Actions. Follow me personally on social media, JustLatasha on Instagram, JustLatasha404 on Twitter. Become a Patreon. My patrons got to spend time, some private exclusive content, live dissection yesterday, going through the Lovecraft Country season finale. I also added a brand new merch tier. Shout out to LB, who you guys can see in the chat. She was the first to sign up for the merch tier. With this loyalty program, you guys get exclusive Patreon-only merch throughout the year. I specially designed Patreon exclusive merch throughout the year when you guys join up for that tier. So make sure you sign up to patreon.com/JustLatasha. A mug, a poster, a t-shirt, and a hoodie for when it gets chilly. Very cute, I must say. I must say it's very cute. As you guys can see, I have no reflection because I am an undead tether. And also, is there anything else I wanted you to do? Yes, of course. Share the content. When you guys share my content, that is like free payment. That's like it goes such a long way for such minimal cost. Share your favorite parts of the dissection. Share the video and the links on your social media. And in Facebook, if you still talk to your Annie down in the island, share the content. It helps me as a creator so much. Hit the notification bell so you guys know when I make new videos. Watch my new series, Piece of Script, every Thursday. Last Thursday, I did Set It Off. Very nice. And subscribe to this channel. Did I hit everything? Thank everyone in the chat, all my patrons in here. Thank you to my moderators, Just Nicole and the Shy Podcast, aka Laura. Thank everyone for tuning in, giving your brilliant opinions and ideas. I love this time. I love hanging out with you. I love talking to you. See you Thursday. Patrons, I see you next Sunday, not this Sunday. And that's about it. We signing off now, y'all. I love you. Oh, she worked hard. Good night. Good night.